You are now listening to Admirers, the Healing Hearts podcast. This is a show about self-care, healing, and the topics regarding mental health. Because it's okay to not be okay most of the time. I'm your host, Joshua Dixon. This is a safe place where each episode we will talk about certain topics that are often hard to discuss, including but not limited to, such as depression, anxiety, ableism, self-harm, suicide, addiction, healing, hope, and the help that is available. I will also be sharing stories, poems, and self-care guides that help in our journey towards healing, recovery, and obtaining hope for tomorrow. If any of these subjects that we explore or topics become too burdensome, please be aware that it's entirely acceptable to take a break, start over, or even discontinue altogether. As we continue to gain knowledge from one another, together we find purpose in fighting for tomorrow's light. Hey everyone, long time no see. It's been a journey. It's been a long summer, and I'm just forever thankful and grateful to be here today, to be here with you all. It's the reason why I've been away from the pod is I needed to work on myself, and I lost G Pops, my grandfather, back in May, and then I lost my favorite auntie um, 3 weeks ago to alcoholism, and she had multiple organ failure. And there's been so much family turmoil in the wake of that. My mom is now the only child that's remaining. She buried her two older siblings, and she's the youngest, and so she's taking it really, really hard. And then she lost her dad. So I just been trying my best to be there, and then also grieve on my own time. And then I had a lot of financial woes, and then two of my best machines here in the shop that helps me make shirts like this one, the Contiated Mind and terracotta color. My bad. It's kind of like a pastel peach color to describe it. Terracotta. Or you think about like a clay, like a kind of like this clay, pink clay kind of color. Looks really good on me. Really complements my skin. But aside from that point, is I wanted you guys. I know that I like to have these long form conversations, but I want to give you guys the best that I can offer when it comes to these long form conversations. And with me being so speechless and out of words with everything that was going on, I felt like I wouldn't be a great impact I wouldn't serve you guys as well. But look at me, now I'm back. 6 days before Admire's birthday, which is coming up next week. And this time last year, I had launched a Survivor collection, and I had talked about my recovery from suicide. And I do this every year. I do it annually. And in that journey of writing a letter to myself, about AW, about Admireware, and being able to have that reflection on how far I've come, how much I've developed in this life and in this world after recovering, in the mix of recovering from suicide, and understanding that I'm always healing. I'm always going through these battles. Suicidal ideation doesn't necessarily go away. It just gets better thanks to the coping mechanisms and tools that I've learned over the time, or the tools that we can learn over the time. Today's episode is something that I've been struggling with throughout the years. And I think it's a beautiful topic to actually begin on, because during the pandemic, a lot of people had to be alone. They were really lonely during that time of isolation and not being able to have those strong, deepened connections that we're so familiar with having. So today's title the title of today's episode is called Being Lonely but Not Alone. And what I mean by that is that it's normal to be sad about not about being in a sort of a isolation, or to feel like you don't have any accompanied on your journey, that is just you, that you want there to be more, you want there to be a sort of connection with someone outside of you. That is so normal to have those emotions, and don't bully yourself for feeling lonely. A lot of us are on so many different paths that it kind of puts us in this space where the interactions become less and far and few, or even just you have to distance yourself to protect your peace, which may create a sense of isolation, which may bring a feeling of loneliness. And just know that in that endeavor, you're not alone. That's something that took me so many years to develop. I spent countless of days, countless of months being alone, playing video games because I wasn't allowed to hang out with kids, with friends all the time when I was a kid. I spent 5 years of homeschooled, and I would sit in the kitchen. That's where I did all of my classwork. I sat there for hours each and every day reading books and like learning about the subjects, like what they were learning about in school, so I can do the homework. There was a lot of isolation in that. I only had a teacher coming to teach me 1 hour a day. I had to substitute the rest of those hours with actually like learning on my own. My mom and my dad was at work. So it was just me in this house by myself for many, 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 many hours. And I was really lonely. And in that loneliness built a bit of desperation, this need to talk, this need to, like, if I get a physical interaction with someone, if I can verbally talk with someone, I'm gonna talk their ear off about every single thing, because I've been neglected of that deep communication, because I love people, but I can't be around people, or I don't have the ability to be around people like that. I'm in this unfortunate circumstance where I have to be in a sense of isolation. And as I got older, my depression got worse, and then thoughts of suicide developed, and then being bullied in public, or being bullied at social events, or all these kind of things. I even was around people and still had this sense of loneliness, being sad, feeling left out, feeling not a part of, feeling like I had a plate at the table, like I had this space at the table, but I was never invited to like grab the food and actually be a participant in this endeavor of us rejoicing and eating food and sharing. It was just like as if I was just a fly on the wall, and that's it. Because oh well, we have to include him. We can't leave him out, but we're still not gonna make him a part of it. And I even felt that same way in some of the situations when I was in college. One of the things that really helped me was that I had to learn to build an inner peace in this mindfulness with myself, understanding that though I'm alone, like I'm actually alone, and that I'm having this feeling of loneliness, which may be an ongoing occurrence in my life. It may be something I might go through for a really long time, even like for years on out. But how do I deal with with these feelings of sadness and desperation, to at least be accompanied, or at least feel like I'm a part of something, when I have the inability to do so, or I have the immediate inability to do so? One of the things that really helped me was understanding that I at least had myself. Though that I was neglected of those social interactions, or I was kicked out of being like a participant in group projects or group settings, or even at a dinner table, or even in restaurants, or of these kind of calibers where I went to join this thing and then I still got excluded from it, is building a sense of companionship with myself, understanding what made me feel sad, what made me feel. One second. What made me feel sad, what made me feel disappointed, what made me feel so lonely. And in that loneliness, started to bubble up having suicidal thoughts. It's like, why give so much effort when I get nothing in return? And realizing that, like, it's not necessarily my fault. I been given these cards that life has given me, where this hand of playing cards, they might have been the worst hand that you could ever deal someone. But I'm doing the best with what I have. I'm actually trying. And think about it or not, everyone is literally actually trying. That's something that we like don't value enough, is that we absolutely try to make these things happen. They just don't always work out. And sometimes it's okay. And even when it seems like it's okay, it's still gonna hurt. It's still gonna feel like you're being let down, that you feel like you're not deserving because you've been excluded. Maybe that's not the place for you. Maybe that's not the group for you. Maybe that's not the friend for you. Maybe that's not the romantic partner for you. Those are some of the things I had to learn, to accept that maybe these situations that I'm trying to force myself to be a part of, that's been bringing these moments and feelings of isolation and feeling lonely, even feeling lonely being around them or being in this group chat. The way that I'm not being appreciated, the way that that effort or our friendship isn't being reciprocated, that abandonment that I feel, because I've been abandoned multiple times in my life. If I'm refilling those, I need to take a step back and reassess the current circumstance. Assess that maybe this isn't the right place for me. Maybe I should not go to these kind of events anymore. Maybe I should try a different kind of group setting or a different kind of event. But first, I start by always giving myself a hug. You're gonna always hear me talk about that. Is though that I may not feel loved because I feel so alone and isolated, giving myself that warm and gentle hug has at least helped me build my own validation, my own self worth. Because we often seek, especially as men, we seek validation from others. A lot of our worth is from others. We've been told our worth and then we believe in it and then we invest more into that worth because people are acknowledging it, they're praising it, they're appreciating it, and they're valuing me because of that worth. One second. Got a phone call. Okay. That was my mom calling. But it's okay. No emergencies. I thought it was because I had told her I was recording a podcast, but it's okay. A lot of our worth is it's what we build a lot of our own self worth on how others see us. And when you live that kind of path of being in a sort of isolation or being alone, and not really by choices because that's just the circumstances that you're in, there's this need, there's this desperation that I need to seek validation that I just did something good. I just got this promotion, but I have no one to tell. I need that validation. I need to call someone. I need to know if I'm a great romantic partner. So I'm going to jump into any relationship that is out there for me. And if the relationship doesn't work out, then I have no one to talk to. So I need to keep going. It's this constant battle of seeking the worth and appreciation that you want others to see in you because you don't see it in yourself. You don't believe in your own worth. So you being lonely, a part of loneliness can create this desperation to only seek validation from others. And having me, I can speak for me, but me being lonely but not actually being alone is I validate myself before I get my validation from others. I know that I have a strong, small community now, that like a tight knit core group that I talk to on a daily basis, we communicate with, but I actually don't see them often. I see my mom every day. But other than that, like everyone else is via my phone. Um, in that I get some validation from them. But in terms of relying my whole embodiment of self worth based off of what someone else says can be very damaging and detrimental. Because I've been in situations before where I've invested my whole, it's how I had the suicide attempt. And in that recovery from suicide, I built Admireware. But in that relationship, I invested pretty much all of my self worth into how my partner saw me, into how she saw me. And then in a moment's instance, in that domestic violence relationship, she took that. She would take all of that worth from me, and I had nothing. She would tell me that I had nothing and that I was nothing and I will be nothing, and that she hated me, that I was the worst thing that happened to her, and that I deserved to be punched. I deserved to be beaten. I deserved to be kicked. I deserved to be choked by her. Sorry. That kind of hurt to just even flashbacks to that, and knowing that I had to endure a lot of that suffering. I believed her, and I believed that I wasn't shit, that I wasn't anything in life. And in my recovery, I realized that I had invested in too much of my self worth into how others viewed me. And that if they took that worth away from me, if I didn't do something that they liked, or if we didn't see eye to eye, once they took that validation back, they took that worth that they've established and gave me the affirmations upon, they took that away. Now it's like I'm worthless. And I saw myself as worthless. I didn't see myself as worthy. I saw myself as a failure, and that I deserve to be punished. I deserve to be abandoned. I deserve to be in isolation. I deserve to be suicidal. I deserve to not be in this world. All of those things were lies. I do deserve to be here. I need to show myself, for myself, that though things may happen where you may disagree with people, or maybe you might have the wrong person around you, and they may misuse your worth, your value. They may one moment like you and the next moment hate you. It's important to have validation in yourself, to know that you are amazing, to know that you are giving it your all, that you have effort, that you mean so much to this world, and that your life is irreplaceable. And if someone doesn't like you, there will be people out there who will like you, who will love you, who will cherish you, who will do everything that you've always dreamed of. Now, there's no such thing as perfect, but don't hold yourself to perfect standards, because you're a human. You deserve to have days where you mess up. You deserve to have some flaws. We not all of us, we have our own flaws and our own insecurities. But don't give those who you let in too much of your power. It's your power for a reason. And you deserve the world. One of the other things that helps me in being lonely but not being alone with myself is I listen to music all the time. When I'm alone, working for Admireware, as Admireware, as Mr. Admireware, because I'm everything. I'm the face of the brand. I'm those roses. Everything. I'm the one that makes the clothing. I make the podcast. I do all the editing. I edit all the videos. I get no help with any of that. I'm everything. I'm the one replying to every of those comments, the emails, the text messages, all of that. It's all me, and it's hard sometimes, but I love it. But I've spent days in here, and because I can be in here and not see not one person face to face, there's moments where I'm really lonely. And I sit in here and I play music and I sing and I dance while I'm working. And that's building that self love and self care. It's like, even though I'm in this position in my life where I'm not necessarily surrounded by people physically, I'm still surrounded by love and joy. It's just virtually or spiritually. But in this moment where there's no one in here at all, or I may not see anyone or have a conversation with anyone face to face for a whole day, maybe, sorry, for a whole day, it's okay. Because I'm gonna enjoy this time that I have with myself and enjoy these moments and not go out of my way to seek oh, well, I'm lonely, I need to go talk to someone. It's okay. I'm just in this. It's just a circumstance that I'm in. I'm gonna make the best of it while I can. And that's what I mean by playing those cards. You're doing the best that you can with all that you got. I mean, you have these certain hand of cards. It might not be ace of spades or a queen of hearts or anything of that nature, but you're doing the best because you're still in the game. You've survived 100% of your bad days, and we're here. Admirer is here to help you on your journey towards healing, hope, and recovery, to let you know that you can keep surviving those bad days because we're in this fight together. So that's one thing that helps, giving me a hug, listening to music. I meditate. I might even pick up a new hobby, or just keep practicing a hobby. So I just recently got a guitar. Actually, let me show you guys the guitar. So if you're watching this, if you're watching this video on YouTube, you will see my guitar. And if you're watching this video on Spotify, you will also see me and what I'm doing. So hope you're listening to this on those two platforms. If not, it's totally okay. But this guitar is from 1970s. A great friend of mine I met through Admireware referred this guitar to me because I told him that he inspired me to pick up my interest that I had with the guitar. That I've always wanted to learn and play, and I'm not great at playing it right now. This is day 3 of me playing this guitar, so I'm not gonna play anything for you guys. That's all I'm gonna play for now. Let me put that down. Actually, let me put it back. Give me 1 second. The guitar is from the 1970s. It's a unique guitar because actually at that time they didn't actually make that many left-handed guitars. that is a left-handed guitar because I'm left-handed, and I blame myself a lot for things that weren't really my fault. I used to have a guitar when I was a young kid. When I first had the accident, the paramedics who saved my life donated a guitar to my family for me to play when I got out the hospital. My mom and my dad used to fight a lot, as I've talked about on the podcast, and they used to have a lot of domestic fights. Um, One night in particular, I was about probably 10 years old or so. Um, my dad was screaming very just so much at my mom, and he will always vocalize how much he hated us, how much he hated me, how he wished I wasn't born, that I wasn't anything, that he didn't care, that he wished he was free of us. And and as a little kid, I should have stayed in my place, but this kid, I basically screamed through the vents. So they lived in the basement. That's context because we can talk to each other through the heat vents. You can hear each other. We can kind of reply. It's kind of like our intercom system, I guess, was talking through the vents, and I screamed through the vents and some just basically defending me and my mom from my dad's verbal language, verbal assault. And my dad basically replied that he was gonna come up there and come fuck me up, basically. I got really, really scared. I took the guitar and I wedged it between the floorboard, the carpeted floorboard, and put the head of the guitar at the under the door handle. I wedged it like that to keep the door closed because I already knew he was gonna come through and my dad was gonna come through the door and do something that would have been traumatizing, in which he absolutely did that. So my dad came up there and he realized I had propped the door closed and he's also a drunk alcoholic. So he broke through the door, which broke the door in half and also broke the guitar. That was devastating. And then I got a nice slap again across the face that actually made this eye bleed. I had a bloody eye, like actually bloody eye for a few days following that. I never forget. It took me years, actually until recently, to forgive myself for getting that guitar broken. I felt like I let them down. I let the paramedics down. They gave me that gift, and I used that gift to defend myself. But I should have stayed out of that fight. I blame myself for that, and I've always felt like, even in the isolation that I've been in, that I deserved it. That I deserved all that I've been through. And being older now, being 24, and going through the recovery and the healing and the journey that I've been through, I know that a lot of those things I didn't deserve. I didn't deserve to be in, to be a part of, to have that pain. It's just I was just in the I was just a circumstance of that situation, and luckily I survived that. So this friend inspired me to get a guitar and to learn how to play again because I told him I had this dream that me and Chloe went hiking in the woods and we had a campfire, and she's eating the food that I just grilled. I just cooked over the campfire, and I'm playing a song for her and I'm singing and I sound like shit, but it was good. And he said you should do it. You should get a guitar and you should make that dream happen. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I will. I did. I bought it, just got it. Took a while for it to get here, and I'm gonna do that. And I think it's even though having these moments of loneliness and isolation, making it worthwhile. besides sitting in the sadness. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to not be okay most of the time. But do things for yourself. Act, journal. Do like me, play a new instrument, pick up a new hobby, join any club. Because one thing that I was told, I read actually growing up, is do something that you love and people will follow. Not Things may not be working out right now. You may be having some of the hardest times of your life. You may be abandoned. You may be hurt. You may be going through a period of so much toxicity in your life. But don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your aspirations. Don't give up on who you are. Keep working hard towards that. And that doing that act can create some isolation and some separation. But in the long run, it will connect you with those who will value you, who will be empathetic towards you, who will be supportive and be there for you, and will appreciate and admire you in the ways that you've always wanted. And it takes you doing something that you love or acting on what you love and care about, and then just sharing that with those who can absolutely value it rather than sharing it with anyone just to seek that validation. Understanding that that validation starts with you. That if you just did something great, that you just, I don't know, just get out the bed and you just put on this fly outfit, but you're not even going on a date, you're not even probably hanging out with someone, you did that for you. Do that for you. You don't have to always get sexy for someone else. You can start by doing it for you. That's building a lot of that internal workings of self love, self worth, self validation, the whole healing journey to help you with your abandonment skills, to help you with your struggles with feeling isolated, with feeling lonely, with feeling sad because you're not accompanied by someone who can attend to those emotional needs that you're craving so much. A lot of that can start with you, and then people can add on top of that. Don't let them always be the full source of that. And that's an everyday journey. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. And one of the last but not least things that I do very actively is that I just reach out. There are some people who really do value me and they care. And I reach out to those friends and I'm like, hey, how are you doing today? And we have that small talk over the phone. Even though I may not be able to see you face to face, I can still have some of those interactions. Even though maybe I don't have a lot of people in my local space, maybe I might go to an art event. Maybe I might go see a Vincent Van Gogh show. Maybe I might go see a concert. Maybe I might go just sit in the park and be in a space that's safe. That's safe for me and my mental health. And though I'm surrounded by people, and maybe I might not talk to someone at the park, or maybe I might not talk to someone at Vincent Van Gogh, but I don't have that feeling of loneliness no more. I don't necessarily feel alone anymore. I don't drive with anyone in my car. There's no one to get in my car with me. I'm always in my car with myself. And I remember like, dang, these car rides are lonely. Then I realized I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make the best of it. I got my favorite playlist that I play when I'm driving, and I have a great time. And I know some people may call me a loner, but it's the circumstances that I'm in. Um, the circumstances that that my life has is having a lot of these moments of pure isolation. either by choice because of infections or whatever, or just because that's just the path that I took and I have no regrets. Don't undervalue yourself because you're not around people. Value you for you. Take care of you for you. And understand that you are always doing the best that you can. If it's not working out right now, it doesn't mean that it's not gonna work out later. If you haven't found the right best friend right now, it doesn't mean that you might not find a best friend later. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary pain. Unbearable pain can last a long time, but with help, with community, with support, with effort, with tools, with the proper tools that can establish a healthy relationship within yourself, that survival will be more meaningful. That journey is way more meaningful than ending your book entirely. It's okay to start a new chapter. It's okay to start a new voyage. It's okay to change directions. And it's ups and downs always. It's always going to be ups and downs. But suicide is not an option. Help is, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach a hand out. But it's not okay to bully yourself and to be so hard on yourself. See you for how I see you. You are an amazing human being. You deserve to see yourself as such. You deserve to be here. And you are giving it your all. We are all together in this fight for life and for a better tomorrow together. I love you. I hope you got something from this. And I hope you have a great day. Until then, I'm excited to let you guys know about that there is Healing Hearts, Healing Hearts podcast merch coming out soon. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for Admire's birthday. Stay tuned for more guests to be on here. Stay tuned for more consistency from me and having these long form conversations with you all. If there's anything you want me to research or look up or to talk about or to talk more into, please leave a comment on this podcast on your respective platform. Leave it in a review. Please review. Please leave us a review so that more people can see this, hear it, and share it, and have it be a part of their journey. Feel free to reach out via social media, via Admireware on TikTok or Admireware underscore on Instagram. Feel free to email me at Joshua at admireware.com and leave your question there, or even leave your testimony there, and I'll read it out loud here and create a whole discussion about it. We are conversations from the healing hearts, and together we're building hope. We're building hope for tomorrow. Hope, healing, and the road towards recovery. Through the darkest storms to the most beautiful sunlight days. Because the radiance of sunlight is born within you. It isn't always from the sky. You have that radiance of sunshine inside of you. You just gotta work hard to see it. It's what they say, there's always a silver lining in a sandwich. Bye.